every life has a spark, a truth the heart never forgets.
And sometimes one conversation is enough to bring it back.
No ego, no noise, just real insights that inspire and brighten the path ahead.
Because living with love isn't an idea, it's a choice that we make every day.
So today we are speaking about water, the element that decides whether a region grows or collapses. With us is Karl Albrecht Waldstein, the inventor behind Desert Greener and managing director of Seawater GmbH.
A man who has spent years wrestling with one question: how do we turn seawater and sunlight into life again?
So, Karl, welcome to Swiss Impact.
Hello, Ben. I'm very happy to be with you today.
Thank you, Karl. So, Karl, before technology, before machines, take us to the moment when water stopped being a global issue and became your own calling.
This was in Spain almost 17 years ago. I was there in the middle between Valencia and Alicante with friends, and we heard news that the interior parts of Spain are drying out and going into desertification. Roman aqueducts not having any water anymore, which were always bringing water since antique times. Plantations where every second tree has to be cut off to give enough water to the remaining cities suffering from water scarcity. And we discussed this. And in front of us, there was an endless abundance of the sea, water, yes, incredible amounts of water. And we thought it cannot be that the enormous amount of water in front of us cannot solve the problems behind us. We have to find a way. So this was the starting point.
Exactly. So, in your opinion, how bad is the global water situation in reality? And why do you think people still underestimate it?
I would say the underestimation of this problem is a local topic. So in Central Europe, we underestimate it because in Switzerland, in Austria, we are, you can say, in the Kuwait of water. Yes, in the mountains, in the Alps, there's water in abundance. And therefore, we don't have any water problem. In Vienna, we clean the toilets with pure spring water from the mountains. Yes, so the first quality water. We don't have any water problem. Therefore, we underestimate it. But in large parts of the world, nobody would underestimate it. Many nations are barred from wealth and self-supply in food because of the water problem. And the problem is not static, it's dynamic. The global growth cover areas larger than the Americas, and they grow every year 3 times in the size of Switzerland. So imagine you tell all people in Switzerland, pack your luggage and go, because in 1 year Switzerland will be a desert completely. There's just stones and dust. And this would be incredible, but exactly this happens 3 times every year in other areas of the world. And the desertification is killing areas where people are living in large clans and tribes with their cattle, with their crops, and they have to leave. Yes, and this is something which is the real engine behind the people who immigrant and to go as immigrants to Europe. Yes, so all the refugees are in the core coming because of water scarcity. And when we think about water, we as Central Europeans think about drinking water. Yes, we see the water in a glass or and think this, but this is not a topic because everybody in the world has drinking water. Without it, you would be dead in 72 hours. But drinking water is 0.1% of total water consumption, almost nothing. But you need 1,000 times the amount of water for food. So per person, you are well done with 0.7 to 3 cubic meter for drinking, but per capita you need 1,000 to 2,000 cubic meter for food per year. Now the global average we have is 500 cubic meter. So just compare 1,000 to 2,000 is the food range, and we have in average 500. It means we are at the half of the amount which is the minimum request for food supply. And we in Central Europe consume 7,000 cubic meters per capita and year. But with our 7,000, the global average is 500. And United Nations says with 500 cubic meters per capita, you are at the limit to total water scarcity, to a state of emergency. But this is a global average. Can you imagine? So this is really a very, very dramatic situation. And it is increasing.
So if we don't act, then what can happen in 10, 20 years in terms of water, food, and basic stability on our planet?
I think you see about 30% of global surface is dry land. The other part is sea. Yes, and the dry land in, let's say, in the mid of the century will be by 40% deserts. 40%. Imagine this, and this means bad for human beings, plants, and animals. To make it even worse, we have a second problem beside the growing deserts. And this is the topic of the dying of irrigation. You will perhaps know that we have increased agricultural space in the last decades by 20% by gaining new agricultural areas via irrigation. And right now, 20% of global agricultural area is irrigated land supplied by irrigation, and 80% is supplied by rainwater. But the 20% supplied by irrigation deliver 50% of the food production of the world. So they are 4 times as efficient than the areas supplied by rainwater. But all the irrigated areas will collapse. They will collapse because increased salinity in the soil. And this is a development we are already in. It's not in the future, it's already running now. United States, 25% of the areas are heavily damaged with salinity in the soil. In Nile Delta, it's 40%. In Asia, 50%. So we are in mid of a process, and you can see the end of it if you go to Central Valley in California. There they make irrigation since 1920s, and you find 100,000 acres of salty desert, where originally were trees for fruits or vegetable production. It's all desert now. It's gray, brown land. Nobody's living there. No bird is singing. All former trees are there. Just like it looks like the woods of Verdun in the First World War. There's no leaves on them. Everything is dead, a dead zone. And this is the future of all irrigated areas, and this means 50% of global food production will collapse. Can you imagine that? 50%. So this will be an additional turbo for people to move. In Africa, we have 1 billion people, and till the end of century, my grandchildren will live till the end of century. Till the end of century, we will have 4 billion people in Africa, but agricultural space will shrink to 1/4. This means that 16 Africans have to live from the area from which now 1 lives. This cannot work. So at least 1 billion Africans or more will come to Europe. So therefore, if we don't act and act rapidly and act in a large scale, this problem will overwhelm everything else. Whatever we make for plans for the future, we should not ignore this, because this will shape our future. And therefore, it is necessary to act. And I hope I am wrong, but I have the feeling that for most politicians, there's only one plan. That's their personal career plan. There's only one time term. They look into the future, and this is a term until the next elections. And so with this short-sighted view and this personal access to politics, they lack the interest to address the real long-term problems, which if we address them when they are here, fully emerged, it's too late. Yes. So this is something we can fight now, but if we start to fight it in 20 years or 30 years, it will be without real impact, because the forces will be too small, the problem's too big. So we have to make as soon as possible, as to have to start an impact as big as possible against this development to stop it. Yes.
Right. Carl, now tell us, please, what Desert Greener is doing. So, what is your vision and mission? So, how do you tackle this problem?
To speak about solving the problem, just to see the dimensions, and then I explain you why Desert Greener can be the solution for this. We have 5,000 cubic kilometers, 5,000 billion cubic meters water use in the world a year. And we have at least to double it. We have at least, the minimum is we have to double water supply of the whole world. Just imagine this dimension. The whole global water supply we have to double. Now, the only source for this can be the sea. There is no water supply possible from any other source. But if you look at the seawater desalination now, as I said, we have 5,000 cubic kilometers water use per year, but only about 13 cubic kilometers are coming from seawater desalination. So 13 of 5,000 is nothing. It's 0.26%. So a quarter of a percent. So this is nothing. And it shows clearly, as we have seawater desalination here for 40, 50 years and more in a large scale, that this type of seawater desalination cannot save us. Why not? What are the problems, the limits? First of all, the energy consumption is very high. This makes it very expensive. And the running costs demand a lot of maintenance, of service. So these problematic technologies, they work fine in many respects, but this is a limit. It's a luxury good. Only wealthy nations like the Arab nations, like Spain at the Mediterranean coast, like United States, they can afford seawater desalination in this way. But in the large scale for humanity, it's unaffordable on this level. So what we need is to find a way that the seawater solves the problem, but it must be cheap or almost for free. Otherwise, it will not work, and it must work in an incredible large scale. So this is the challenge. And now our response is the following. We studied the natural cycle of water, and we recognized that the main force to desalinate seawater is the sun. The sun desalinates every year 65 cubic kilometers. It is 13 times human consumption. So this is a very strong force. And if you look on the global surface, the sun is sending on a quarter with 500 kilometers side length more energy than total mankind consumes per year. So the energy supply from the sun is unlimited, you can say, and it's the main driving force in the natural cycle of water. So we said, okay, let's find a method that we copy the natural cycle of water, but in such an efficient way that we use all tools possible from modern technologies and science to increase the process, to speed it up, to make it more efficient, but to leave it in the main as a process of the natural cycle of water, because this process is running for free. Solar energy is free. The whole process is pure physics, so it is running on its own. You don't need to create it. It's just running. If it can run, it will happen because it's nature. And we just have to keep it in a controlled way that we can harvest all the sweet water coming from it. And we are becoming so efficient that this is really an efficient way of seawater desalination, that we have to bring down running costs to zero, because otherwise it will not be affordable. And the installation and implementation expenses have to be refinanced by the value increase of the land. When we change the land, also the value changes. Desert land is without value. If we would change all deserts in the world in arable land, this would be a value increase between 200,000 and 400,000 billion dollars. So this is a huge reserve of equity, you can say, we have in the world, the empty space under the sunlight. There we can do a lot. And for example, in Egypt at the Red Sea coast, when you take beautiful beach shore, sandy shore, yes, you can get it for 100 Egypt pound per square meter without sweet water, and with sweet water, 10,000 Egypt pound per square meter, so 100 times increase. And this increase of value of the land is the real refinancing model for the implementation, and then it has to run more or less for free. And that's what the Desert Greener can do. We have a system which is in a highly efficient way separating distilled water from brine, so splitting seawater into salty brine and sweet water, and the distilled water then can be used for whatever purpose we want. It's like a blank
Also
sheet.
for drinking, Karl?
Yes, of course. I would not recommend you to drink distilled water because our body is used to about 1% of the salinity of the sea. So sweet water has about 1% of the salinity of the sea. This is what we are used. Our body expects it and it needs it. And therefore, it is this sounds really simple, but it is so simple. It is enough when we have the seawater and we make distilled water that we mix 100 liter of distilled water with 1 liter of seawater, and then we have the perfect amount of salinity what our body is used. Then you have drinking water.
And so let's keep it very simple. If I stand next to your plant, Desert Greener plant, for one full day, what do I see happening? So from sunlight to a glass of water, what's happening there?
Okay, so we have two different sizes, two different models. One is for the small demand, one is for the big demand. For the small demand, we have a parabolic mirror, parabolic curved mirror, focusing all solar radiation into one tube. This will be maximum a mirror 4 to 5 meters. So, and the whole device will be up to 4 meters high. And the mirror will be tracking the sun, so following the sunlight. And there you will see water, seawater going into the device, and on the other side, distilled water and the brine in different tubes will leave the device. And the distilled water then you can take for further use and decide if you want drinking water, then you mix 100 to 1. Or if you need it for other purpose, for example, if you put it on fields, it is better than the present irrigation water because it cannot increase salinity of the soil. So therefore you can make irrigation forever with it. The problem is solved. And we even can clean areas already harmed by salinity, by too much salinity, because we wash it out. So this is something can help really the whole irrigated areas to recover. Then we can deliver this water for greening deserts, for gaining additional agricultural areas, for fighting the growth of deserts by rolling back the growth of desertification. And the best thing is you have 300,000 kilometers of coastal line globally. 60,000 kilometers are desert coastal lines, so plenty of area to start with. And then we can make pipelines to the interior. And you know the railway kings of United States, they made their money not so much by the selling tickets or freight expenses from the trains, but that right and left of the train line of the railway, they had many square miles shifted into their property. And so they were owners of the most precious land throughout the whole United States. All cities, all factories, all slaughterhouses, everything was built on their area. So this made the Vanderbilts and all this so incredibly rich. And we do the same with the pipelines. When we build the pipeline and collect investors for this, we demand from the government that right and left of the pipeline, 10 square kilometers should be given into our economic disposal, and then we can create extremely precious land. Yes, and this refinances the pipeline. But we have even a second way to refinance the pipeline. So we don't need government money for the pipeline. We just need enough desert. And the other way to do it is we can use the water not as water. we can send the distilled water and also the brine through electrolysis and create hydrogen, green hydrogen. And we have enough space there in the area that we can install a lot of photovoltaic energy supply. So again, solar energy for the electrolysis. And then we produce enormous amounts of green hydrogen. And if we then add the collection of nitrogen from the atmosphere, the most common stuff there, then we get ammoniac. And ammoniac is not only for 85% of the fertilizer production of the world responsible, but ammoniac is also the fuel of the future. You all burning engines can be instead of fossil fuels run by it's very little to change in the present engines. You can take every used car and make some small changes, adaptations, and then it runs with ammoniac. And the only emissions from an ammoniac run engine is nitrogen and water vapor. So no emissions anymore. Topic solved, yes? So we can solve the whole CO2 topic changing the engines to ammoniac, and we can produce it. And if I make, you see, with the small devices with a parabolic mirror and the tube, the big device is that we separate the tube from the mirror and put it in the center as a big tower and surround it with mirrors reflecting to the peak of the tower. And then with this, this is, for example, for a hotel with 1,000 beds or something like this in this dimension upwards. Then you can use these big units. Smaller is then with a parabolic mirror and the tube in the focus. But with these big mountains, towers, we produce 150,000 cubic meters of distilled water. And if we redo this into green hydrogen and then into ammoniac, we have an annual turnover of 1.2 billion euros. And the total investment would be about 500 million euros, mainly for the photovoltaic. We will need more than a square kilometer of photovoltaic for each tower. But then we would make an annual turnover of 1.2 billion, and we will have no running costs. So this is running for 30 years or more. And so we have 70 times return of investment. And this easily can afford that we put one such installation into the desert and make a 500 kilometers seawater pipeline and can pay it from selling the ammoniac. Yes. So this is a very easy tool that we ourselves can make enormous pipeline systems with this. And this is, I think, very, very interesting development. So that via electrolysis, of course, this is not now the main emphasis. The main emphasis is the water.
Your technology is solving so many issues. It's amazing. But people usually talk about or know about reverse osmosis. So, what are the 2, 3 big differences between that and desert greener, and the one which you want the viewers to know about?
So, the first thing is we have zero emissions. Nothing goes back to the sea, nothing goes to the air. The mass of reverse osmosis is running by electric energy coming from burning of fossil fuels. It's less than 1% is running on wind or solar energy. So reverse osmosis is already having the problem of air pollution, and then it works well up to 4% salinity. The seas have average 3.5% salinity. So normally you should not make reverse osmosis with pure seawater. You dig down close to the sea and make holes under subterranean holes, and there from two sides water is coming in. One part is coming from the sea, and one part is sweet water from reservoirs, from rainwater, and so on, and they mix there as brackish water. And brackish water, average, has not 35 grams of salt per liter, but 8 grams of salt per liter, so it's much less. And with this, they can work much longer until they have the 40 gram per liter or the 4%. But then they have to send the seawater back to sea, the salt water. But it has a higher salinity than average, and it's polluted with chemicals. And so it's that bad for maritime life. And the better systems now can go up to 7% salinity, but then they have to drop the water back to the sea. So between 50 and 90% of the water they draw, which is quite an expensive process, and put chemicals into it, they have to release to the sea. So 50 to 90%. We release nothing to the sea. We consume everything. We use all the water, and we don't care about the amount of salinity. We work with every salinity. We could even go to reverse osmosis facilities and say, please stop wasting the seas. Give us your wastewater. We can do it.
Let's become practical, let's choose one coastal farming region and imagine desert greener plant is running there for 5 years. What changes for farmers in their daily lives will be?
You see, first of all, they will not have any more problem with increasing salinity. Then the question is, as I said, it's a blank sheet of paper. Yes, so you can do everything with the water before you give it to the plants. And we had an Austrian, Viktor Schauberger, who was researching the nature of water. There's a big book of him, the Nature of Water, very interesting. And he recognized that if you make vortex with the water, you make this, put moving energy into it, yes, then the water contains more energy and gets better, more complicated structure, because more water molecules click together. Normally, water molecules can click together, and they can form, let's say, a hexagon, for example, with 6 water molecules, but they can build clusters up to 400,000 molecules, put together as one structure. Yes, so this is the reason why IT experts say this can be the future. This was also proven by scientists. And if you make this more structured water, there's enormous impact on the body of the people when they drink this structured water, but also on plants and on cattle and animals. So if you treat this water before you put it on the farmland with this structuring, and we have this technology also, yes, then you will see enormous improvement in the quality of the products. You get far better than now, far better than from normal rainwater. So this is also a very interesting development, and this, I think, is a unique thing we have because we cooperate with top experts in this treatment of water. And this is only possible, as I said, because we have this blank sheet. Yes, we have this pure water which you can develop to everything. And so we can make water which is of the highest quality from healing spas. Yes, we can, all this is possible. Yes. And therefore, this, I think, would be a big impact for every farmer.
I hear so much passion, in what you are doing, and so much knowledge and so much depth. It's really incredible. But let's go do one more example. So we were talking about farmers. Now, if you imagine a growing coastal city, how does life shift when water becomes clean, stable, and produced right where people live?
Yes, just imagine that, you see, water we need for absolute everything. So, for example, 1 kilogram of coffee needs 27,000 liters of water to get it. One car needs 400,000 liters of water. Even a laptop needs 20,000 liters of water. Of course, this water is not in the product, yes? You would not see it there. But if the water is not there for the production, you cannot produce. And this means that if you have no water, you have, first of all, you have no chance of industrial development. You have no chance of industrial production. You have no chance for most of the energy supply systems. Yes, if there is no water, forget it. And this is very, very problematic because these countries who have no water, they are always, you can say, chained to poverty because they cannot develop without them. And then if you have not enough water to eat, then you need to make incredible efforts to get this water. In Africa, 40 billion working hours per year get lost for people walking around for carrying water. And this is the total work time of France. The problem is so severe and so life endangering for the people. And it is also harming us, of course, because you see the CO2 topic is more or less destroying our industry now. By all the activities done, and is destroying our traffic, is destroying many parts of life, and all people in Europe who, let's say, seem to be wealthy, if you look at it from Africa, but most of the people, they can, yes, more or less get over the months, but without big possibilities to save money. But they are more and more burdened with the additional expenses for CO2. So if we can get rid of the CO2 topic, and we have two ways. The one way is that we change fuels to ammoniac. The other way is if we green just 5% of global deserts, the plants will consume 50% of human emissions of CO2. So this is another way than reducing emissions, we can increase consumption. And second, if we create economic boom zones exactly there from where the refugees come to Europe, then this is a game changer, because the economic dream and the food supply dream or whatsoever they come here for, yes, they can all of a sudden see that this is fulfilled at home. And nobody loves to leave his home country. People suffer when they lose their home country, but they have no other choice. But when they see, oh, whatever I was dreaming for when I went to Europe, I can now go home and there it is. Yes. So this is a big, big game changer, not only for them, but also for us.
So, no, but let's talk business. So, are you selling machines or are you selling water?
We are just selling the products. We are selling water, we are selling ammonia, green hydrogen, we are selling chlorine, we are selling caustic soda, we are selling the products, we are selling sea salt, we are selling all the products from our production, because if we go and tell the people, trust in a new technology you have never heard about, yes, this is a difficult topic. If we say, give us an option contract to sell you water, yes, you can check it. If the water quality is not what you want, you don't take it. Yes. So this is safe. Nobody has some troubles to think about it. So this is the reason why we built up the whole business by selling the products. We will build the facilities and we will sell the products. But the way to put us out of risk is the following. First, our teams go there and ask the clients for option contracts. You have a water scarcity problem, we can solve it. Give us the option to sell you. What do you need? 20,000 additional cubic meter of water. We sell you from the year 2030 onwards for 30 years the 20,000 cubic meter. You have to give us an option contract that we can sell you this 20,000 cubic meters for 30 years every year for an agreed price. And you have to give a guarantee on it that you will buy the water if the quality is fine. And this guarantee has to be an international tool of financing. So a World Bank guarantee or a government guarantee or a bank guarantee, which works with our banks here and so on. Only if we have that, we start. And then a local company we set up is having this contract, getting this guarantee. With this guarantee, it buys from our production company here in Europe the facilities. So we here produce it, sell it, and have already cashed the money. And we cash it from the export banks. So, for example, in Germany from KfW or in Austria from Kontrollbank, we cash it immediately. And we have the money immediately here from government-backed institutions. And then our local companies in the countries out there have to pay to these government bodies the price. And they pay with the financial instrument of the guarantee of their clients who have to be supplied with water. So by this, we are put out of risk. And this means that we can build up safely the whole economic business and build it in a way that we make profit from the year one. So if we get a repayment of installation in 5 months, it doesn't mean that we will repay it in 5 months. We will stretch this on 10 years. But this means that we will make huge profit in the first year and in every year immediately. Yes. So this is very, very attractive for us and everybody who goes with us.
I know how about you, Ben, but I'm just sitting and enjoying and learning a lot from Carl right now. So, Carl, what was your hardest moment on this journey? Maybe you thought this might not work. And what kept you going? Was there such moment that you had some kind of deep?
It was first more like a hobby, yes, you can say, let's see if we can create something. And when we had the first structure modeled, how it could work, we were absolutely sure that we are not the first to have this idea. Yes, we said, okay, this is nice, this could work, but for sure, somebody has already done this. We are not a genius, yes, we are not even experts, not technicians, not experts on physics. So we are simply dilettantes. If we create something here in Spain, just so, we will not be the first, for sure. But if so, we will try to get a patent on it. So we asked the patent lawyer and said, but don't make a patent now because we are sure there is already one. Please check first if there is a patent. So there was a global patent check, and we got the information, no, there is no patent like this, and there was never a patent like this. We said, wow, okay, then we make a patent. Then so we made the patent. Then I started to study the global water situation, and I was shocked to see how terrible it is. I had no idea. As a Central European, you have no idea about this. So I was terrified to see, and then I understood that this is not only, you can say, a miracle that we have developed something which could work, but that, like children who in the wood all of a sudden find a treasure, yes, we have found something which gives us a huge responsibility, because this can be really the solution for big problems having no solutions now. And so I understood that I have a mission. I have to do it. Yes, it's not something I can do as a hobby. I have to be prepared to sacrifice everything and uh, to devote my whole life on the success of this.
When
And
did that happen, Carl? Like how many years back?
2008, 2009, that's
Okay.
very many years ago. And then I looked for investors. And this is the typical inventor's dilemma. Yes, so uh, uh, when you ask investors, they say, yes, but this is very early stage.
Hmm.
Please come again when you have a production, have customers, have prototypes, then we can see it working, then we are safe, then we'll invest. I said, "Fine, but how should I get there without investors?" So, so then one friend of mine said, who is also a manager and economic expert, said, I think you have a wrong viewpoint on it. You must understand one thing. This is not a commercial project. A
Yeah.
commercial project, it is when you start production and sell it to the.
Hmm.
Until that time, it is a scientific research project. So
Hmm.
don't look for investment, look for financing for scientific research. There are funding units for this. Look there, go there.
Hmm.
Okay, so I applied for funding. I said, okay, this is a very difficult process, a huge paperwork. I have no experience with it, how to do it. So I will ask experts. There are many agencies who offer expertise and also doing application
Hmm.
for funding. So I took an agency, they were well experienced. I asked them, apply for funding for us in European Union. Horizon 2020, we should fit perfectly into it, and these funding programs. So they applied and applied and applied and applied, and they were always refused. They were successful in 300 other cases, never in our. So
Oh.
we could not understand, because we said we are matching everything the European Union wants. We are CO2 topic, we are solar energy, we are
Hmm.
sustainable, renewable, we help the refugee problem, we increase food situation, everything. There are, for each
Hmm.
of our topics, there's an own funding uh, 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 budget in the European Union, and we get zero of it. And so finally, our top expert for funding in this agency started to research unofficially. Can you tell me why exactly this project will always be
Hmm.
refused? And they said, don't try it again. You will always be refused again. And I tell you why. Because the biggest water producers of seawater desalination are huge European companies in France,
Mm.
Suez, Veolia. The biggest player in the world water market is Nestle. Many other big companies are supplying to this. Don't forget that there are 30,000 people in Brussels just for lobbying. Yes. And of course, all these companies have their ears and eyes in the funding institutions. And it was decided that you will never get funding because they are scared. And this is something what we have to take in account since that time. Yes, we are
Yeah.
also scaring people. I don't think that it is necessary because they could all earn money. They could join in. I'm not
Yeah.
so that I say we have to take all the money and ruin other businesses. No, join in and get rich. Yes. So we are open for that. We are open for Nestle, for Suez, for Veolia. Do business with us. Make your own huge amount of money. Just imagine, yes, uh, only if you say the additional water supply necessary is 5,000 cubic kilometers, 5,000 billion cubic meters. The average water price, according to OECD, from waterworks is $2 per cubic meter. So we are talking about 10,000 billions of dollars annual turnover in water, 10,000 billions per year just for the water. And this is a low price product. If we
Mhm.
go to the ammoniac, if we go to the green hydrogen, yes, there are billions. We make in a lifetime of one tower 36 billions. So there is so much money to be earned. The countries we are changing, when we change the desert to Arab land, 200,000 to 400,000 billions of US dollar. So please, there is so much space to earn money. Yes, nobody has to be scared. Nobody has to be feel envy. Yes, every big company in the world can earn much more than they ever earned before when they join in. Yes, so
Mhm.
and we have to join all efforts. We have to join all forces. Yes,
Absolutely, yes. The unity needs to be there, right?
so huge that a small little company from Austria will never be enough to solve the world problem. If we all work together, perhaps we can make an impact big enough. But this is necessary. We have to join forces, all of us. And therefore, I don't want to be a threat to the present economy. I want to be a chance for everybody, also every of the big companies.
And Carl, you say this, so the fear is a problem, and I think greed is a problem, so and then it's not about the project, it's not about the efforts, it's really this human nature which not allows to take to do the next right thing, right? So then let's zoom out a little bit and we ask you a few other type of questions. The first one is, so when we strip away nationalities, jobs, titles, bank accounts, who are we in your eyes?
Physically spoken, we are water, and an add-on, you can say, yes. But I think the most important thing is that we are spiritual beings. And the question is, what is the world? Yes, what is the world? We have, and then you understand more who we are. Uh, we have in Austria, after 100 years of having no Nobel Prize winner for physics, we have one again, Professor Zeilinger. And he said in his speech, we thought that originally that the atom is the smallest piece of materia. Yes, it is not. Then we found positron and the smaller parts, and we got to the quarks, and it's down, 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 and now we think there is no stuff. Yes, it is all energy. It is all the same energy having different informations how to perform. And this is very much like a computer simulation, you can say. Our world is similar to that, and it is pure energy. But although it is the same energy who is simulating for us to be wood or iron or whatsoever, the stuff of water is a different one because water is the life. And everything, every life is coming from water, every life demands permanent supply from water, and every water returns to the sea again. So this is some magic speciality. And I think that we, as a human beings, we are the combination of this energy here in this simulation process with a spirit, with a spiritual being collected with it, combined with this. And the time here on earth is a time where we are undergoing some examination. And this is the purpose of life. You see, we go through an endless chain of challenge and response. The challenges we have to face, and we have to find a response. And we cannot be blamed for the challenge unless we were very, uncautious or whatsoever. But however, the challenge is there, and the response, that's ours. We are in the response. And this, I think, is very important, that we work and develop the right response on every challenge we have to face. And this is the examination we undergo. And this is, for me, the main purpose of life, that we always have the right response on the challenges. And we have a wrong measuring, for my opinion, that we measure everything on how is the value in money. Because each of us knows, when we think about the things, that all really precious things are free. Love is free. Friendship is free. Yes. Family, you just get it. Air to breath, the beauty of nature, good books, good talks with friends. All this is free. You don't have to pay for it, or almost not to pay. So therefore, I think we have wrong ways to measure things, because only valuable is what is expensive. This is wrong, I think.
I
Okay.
love that, because when scientists and inventors believe that we are spirit, it's definitely hope.
Exactly. And you mentioned love. So what is true love for you, and how does working on Desert Greener connect you to that?
You see, um, I must say that my access to love, I think I was also, people are different, and I was in some way created, obviously, that I easily love. Yes, I love people. I have a very positive attitude to everybody. Yes, so I'm very open. And I love the people, not just some, but I love the people, and I love the nature, and I love Earth. But I'm also a very religious person. And I had the huge advantage that I could spend a whole day with Mother Teresa many years, yes, and we spoke about a lot of things, and in the end, she gave me a small little card, and she said, "This was my way." And the way, and there were 4 lines on this card, and the 4 lines were: "The fruit of silence is prayer, the fruit of prayer is faith, the fruit of faith is love, and the fruit of love is service." And this was very amazing for me to read it, and very amazing also to see that everything started with silence, the fruit of silence. This was the beginning, yes? So, uh, where do we have silence? Where can we meditate? Where can we, in the noisy, busy activities around us, and always people go with headphones, bam, 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 listen to music. So where is the silence? Yes. So the way of Mother Teresa, which led her to full joy and happiness inside, and being a well of joy from so many people, yes, started from the silence. And I think this is something we should really think about, and that we should give silence a space in our life. It is very important, and then to go this way.
Wow, it's turned so amazingly as a TV show, Carl. Really, thank you so much for being open to answer all these questions. I have the very last one, I promise. For those who didn't find their purpose yet, because we clearly see you are on your journey, on your mission. You found that golden ticket journey, we call it your mission, what you're doing for the planet, and you're also a very loving person. How one can find the purpose if they are still searching? Any advice?
The Austrian professor for psychology, Viktor Frankl, he once said, "If an eye can see itself, it's sick." Yes, an eye, you have an eye to see everything else. If the eye starts to see itself, that means it is not working anymore. It's a type of disease. And he said, with the soul of people, it is similar. you have to become a happy person. Don't go always in cycle around yourself. Don't be selfish. Don't be always looking backwards on yourself. You should look for others. Forget about yourself. Let others take care for yourself. Take care for others. And then you will find the spring of happiness and joy. Yes, it is very important to understand that this is our nature. Yes, that we get to happiness when we create happiness of others. And then in reflection of their joy, the joy comes to us. And this, I think, is a very good way to find the meaning in life. Because whatever you do, when you create happiness and luck in the life of other people, this is benefiting, this is satisfying, this comes back to you. Yes, not in money, but in joy. And this will help you to find a meaning in life anyway. And if nobody finds a way, there are so many others offering something where you could join in. Also, we offer it. We form the community, the Desert Greener community. There are already 6,000 people, close to 7,000 who are members. It's no money you need to become a member. Yes, you can just join in, you can register, then you get all the information and you spread the message and you support us by becoming a member, and we all carry the burden together to get through. Yes, because we don't believe that politicians, governments, EU or United Nations or other one will do it. We have to do it. We act on ourselves, and I think this is the pure and real democracy, that we, the people, start to do the things, not look on others. We do it. And we can do it, but we have to go. We have to march. We have to do it. And I think this is something which can give a lot of meaning to many lives. We have many people in our community who say, now I know what I'm doing and I know what I'm here for. So they found a new sense of life by joining in. And there are many other activities for helping people where you can experience the same. When you just take care for children or for whoever needs some help, yes, you can find the meaning of life.
Exactly.
Wow, that's the perfect finish, I think, of the TV show, Karl. Thanks so much for joining us today, for your courage, for your impact on the planet, for your faith, for the service, for your love. So thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Yes, I hope that we will make the Desert Greener project successful. I hope that we make a big impact. Thank you.
Thank you, Karl. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing this space with us today.
Remember, real impact begins the moment you stop running from who you are.
Let today's story remind you that every soul carries light, even through darkness.
Until next time, stay open, stay human, and lead with love.